ha, ha, ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Atlanta hosts the College Football National Championship game tonight.
Ohio State and Notre Dame meet in the national title game tonight, and Fighting Irish head coach Marcus Freeman says a team-first mentality got them to this point.
It takes 120 guys saying, Lord, who cares how many plays I get? Who cares what type of individual praise I get? It's all for Notre Dame and to make sure we achieve team glory.
Team glory is also on the mind of Buckeyes head coach Ryan Day.
How do you leave a legacy is, to become your own legend. And there's some guys on his team today that, and I believe, will become legends in Ohio State history.
It's been a decade since Ohio State last won a national title. Notre Dame hasn't won one since 1988. Erica Herskowitz for CBS News.
The Teamsters Union says 18,000 Costco workers will go on strike in less than 2 weeks if a dispute over wages and benefits isn't resolved. Their contract expires January 31st. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien calls Costco's executives greedy and says they have to do the right thing. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. My name is Berlin SAVELLA with the Guam Police Department. Alongside with me is Sergeant John Bauman with the Special Operations Division assigned to the SEAS section, which is the Special Enforcement Amphibious section. Before we start, I'd like to give a great thank you for Glimpses Media, to Glimpses Media, for allowing the Guam Police Department to share the airwaves with our law enforcement partners and law enforcement officers to talk about all things law enforcement behind all the great magic, and allowing us to convey our message is our producer, Ms. Reese Espinosa. Thank you so much for welcoming us this morning, as you do every morning, every Tuesday from the hours of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We have a great segment for you this morning, which Sergeant John will share with us some highlights and promoting a community outreach that will be taking place this coming Saturday, called Operation Seaweed. I know that this kind of sounds just a little bit off, but Operation Seaweed is a community water education engagement detail, hoping that Sergeant John will not only share the highlights of that, but also go into a little bit more that he would like to talk about with regards to how his section that he oversees and supervises the Special Enforcement Amphibious Section, known as SEAS. What they have forthcoming for the year 2024. Good morning, Sarge.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
and
it's good to be here.
I know that this was not necessarily an impromptu, but you have much to tackle for this week, especially this morning, putting off your presence at a training that you are supposed to be in at this time. But thank you for sharing your time to allow the community to know what's going on and what we have so far. If you're able to talk a little bit about Operation Seaweed.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, by the way. It's always good to be here and talk to the community. This is what it's really all about. As law enforcement officers, right, we get a great deal of help from the community.
Definitely.
And if we get the community to step up, help out, say something, contribute, some successes to our success, it all lies down to community. So we've come up with an operation. It actually stemmed from the chief. One day, Lieutenant Torrey, boating law administrator, calls me in and says, "Hey, Sarge, I spoke to the chief, and he had this idea, right? Let's get engaged with the community." So we came up with Operation Seaweed. This is the second time we're going to do it. We're going to try to do it every month. We're trying to get a lot of the kids involved, right? We're trying to trend set with the wear of life jackets.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember wearing glasses when I was a kid, for example, and I was always teased.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't a trend set. Now it's cool, right? Kids wear it. They're like, yeah, I want to wear glasses. So same thing with life jackets, right? Some people say it's not cool to wear one. I could swim good. So we're trying to make it cool and start out with engaging with the community, inviting them out to come be with us, right? Put the life jackets on, teach them how to wear it, right? How to size it, how to fit it, how to inspect it, how to make sure that these life jackets are approved, right? Part of our boating enforcement is we not only look to see if you have a life jacket on board, right, of your vessel, but we also look at certain things. One, if you have a child on board, for example, a kid that's 5 years old, if I'm inspecting your boat, I better see a 5-year-old life jacket that can fit this 5-year-old.
Okay.
Right? So proper size and proper fit is also very important. So we teach that. We take them out on the boat, right? They get to see what we do. Not a full-on enforcement per se, because we're trying to look at for the safety of the kids, but we're trying to, I guess, they don't see what we do. The general public don't see what happens out in the water. So we're trying to get the kids involved, spend some time with us, and get them interested. Hopefully we can get a lot of, when they grow older, that we can get them to be safety conscious, right? In the past month, 2 months, I've engaged with you, right, in regards to some fatalities that we had and some emergency responses. And I'll be honest, I think there was a few incidences where if there was a life jacket on,
yes,
I believe that we could have had a more successful response, because we see it every day. I'll give you an example. We had a kayaker we saw, right, was a father on a kayak, and the father had 2 children on his stand-up paddle in the middle of the ocean. No life jacket. And so we approached this person and says, "Hey, I think you should have a life jacket on these kids. Well, what happens if you fall overboard?" And his response was, "They can hold on to the paddleboard." So, we're trying to make it fun. Wearing life jackets, fun. And if some people think that it's obtrusive, they have these life jackets that inflate, right? You can carry them on your wrist, on your waist, and then when you need them, similar to that of the airplane, right? It's folded to a small, less intrusive size.
Okay.
And you can bring it on board. So we're going to try and encourage more people to have it. We've been engaged with the stand-up community or the paddling community, the Outrigger Canoe Club.
Okay.
And it's in their mandates that they go to a safety course with us. So every year we hold a water safety course, and we talk about a lot of the safety practices that they should practice, right? So going back to this engagement, right, with seaweed, this happens this weekend.
Okay.
On the 25th, you can call our recreational boating safety office, and you can register with them, or we have an online registration. I don't know how we could get that for viewers to see regarding that, but we do have an online registration. We can get a hold of the recreational boating safety office, and you can contact them at
guamboating@gmail.com, or they also have a contact number,
Yes.
Sarge, which I'm reading,
Okay.
which is right in front of me, is 671-475-8448. And I'll repeat these contact information as we near our time, but if you're okay with it, before we move to your next highlight, I just wanted to see if I could just maybe ask some questions.
Sure.
So I was privy to be invited to your first, not necessarily trial, but the onset of moving forward for Operation Seaweed. And I have to say, just based on the observation, was first and foremost, it was a great turnout. I saw kids of all ages, to include ones that weren't able to walk yet. That I'm not certain if they maybe just stayed along the pier or if they were allowed to go to. And please forgive me, I'm not certain if you were the one that was giving the the tutorial, or like not a speech, but the rundown before we actually entered into the boat, right?
Yes.
And so you not specific, but you started off with the life vest, life jacket, and you mentioned, which caught my attention, was proper sizing. So could you help me understand? I was under the impression, which I didn't hear that portion, that it was a one size fits all.
No. So some of these life jackets, for example, they have, if you look at the label, just like
Okay.
a shirt, when you buy, it's medium, small, large.
Okay.
So they have life jackets that are labeled child, and then they have ages and weight, right? So you have to really look, when you're purchasing your life jacket, you have to really look at the age, who it's intended for, and the weight that it could keep someone afloat.
Okay.
Right? Kids, for example, newborns. You mentioned you saw newborns, or real young, under the age of 1.
Toddlers probably
Toddlers.
can't walk, still
Yeah,
need.
so they have special life jackets that have a strap that goes under, right? So the life jacket doesn't come over their head, right? So that's how we properly fit them, to make sure that when they're swimming and they're struggling, and their hands go up,
It's not going to
it's
just.
not going to come right off and slip off.
I know this is just a question that I pretty much have an idea of, but if a parent chooses a flotating device over a life jacket, is there a difference between the two? Because I do know that flotation devices, sometimes they're a ring that can go, you can slip into,
Yes.
right? And then I've seen flotating devices where you can put them in the arm. I mean, again, I know we are promoting the use of a life jacket while you're out there in the sea, enjoying whatever activities you're able to do, and as you've mentioned, paddleboarding, kayaking. Again, there is a difference, right,
Yes.
Sarge?
Yes. So with the inner tube, right, the little tubes
Yes,
that you were
yes,
talking about, you
that's-
can easily slip away, and that tube can float away from you, right,
Okay.
if you're in a panic. Even those little flotation devices that go on your arm,
Yes.
if you're in a panic, they'll come off.
Thank
right?
you for sharing that.
Yeah. So the life jackets or life PFDs are designed for you. If you're in a panic, it's not going to come off, if proper size
Okay.
and proper fit is followed.
So we do have not that they're nonprofit, but we do have some establishments that take out some of our tourists or locals who are interested in seeing that side of our island, which is the ocean.
Yes.
Is every boat required to have a life jacket on board? Out of curiosity.
Yes. So part of our unit, right, we do boating enforcement.
Okay.
And there are carriage requirements under statute. Title 10 or Title 10, Chapter 69.
So I'm
Title
hearing
10.
that this is the law.
Yes.
Right.
It's a law. So it's mandatory that you have unregistered vessels, right, that you have. And I always say there's primary safety equipment, right?
Okay.
The first thing we ask you is if we stop you and board you, is let's see your life jackets. If there's 10 people on the boat, I better see 10 life jackets.
Okay.
Right? If there's 10 adults and 10 kids, I better see 10 adults and 10 kid life jackets. So that's number one. Number two, we make sure that these life jackets are U.S. Coast Guard approved. Right, because that tells us that these life jackets have gone through testing, stringent testing to make sure that they're safe and they actually work. Right, so to get that stamp of approval from the Coast Guard, that's a plus for us, because there's other manufacturers that make life jackets, but they're not designed for what the Coast Guard tests them for. Second, we look for fire extinguishers.
Okay.
Right, we make sure that their fire extinguishers are available. If something happens out there, the only way we can extinguish the fire is through a fire extinguisher, right? People say, oh, well, we're in the water. Yeah, you're in the water, but you can't put out a field fire with salt water. You can't put out an electrical fire with salt water. You have to use a fire extinguisher that can put out B and C fires, which is electric and fuel.
I see.
Yeah. So we look for that, and we have to make sure that they're properly filled. They're not expired, right? Some of them have expiration dates. Some of them don't have the pressure. So you can have one, but we got to make sure that it works. So there's ways to test it if it doesn't have a valve. We look for a sound producing device.
A sound producing
device?
Yes.
Something as simple as a whistle, right?
Okay. Now,
why is that important? I encourage a lot of the boat operators, have one, buy a Fox 40 whistle,
okay,
attach it to your life jacket, and that's good for me. It's good. And why a sound producing device? So if you're in the water and you're afloat for a certain period of time, and you've been in the water for a certain period of time, even in our warm tropical waters, hypothermia will still set in. What happens when hypothermia set in? You can't talk. So if a person is nearby, you can't scream for help, but you can grab the whistle and blow it.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
22 years, and only now that's what I'm piecing together, because the recreational boating section is funded through certain grants.
Yes.
And with that grants, I do know that I've sought their assistance in asking for some of their promotional items to share with presentations at school. And they would give one of several things. And one of them would be either a pencil with our logo, RBS, Recreational Boating, and either a coloring book or this floating thing that's kind of like a keychain.
Yep.
And I was told that, well, should you ever drop your keys in the water, this thing's going to stay afloat, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then a whistle.
Yes.
And a whistle, and I'm like, oh, thank you. I could use this for,
It's not just for directing traffic.
I'll use this for directing traffic. I'll put this on my vest. And thank you for allowing me to understand the reason for a sound device while you're out there.
And it also pushes the projection, right? You can hear it from a certain distance, a lot further away. I tell you from a law enforcement perspective, who has gone through many search and rescue, right, looking for missing people, I believe that if you can be seen or be heard,
yes,
right, it would be much easier for us to find you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's the reason for it's a carriage requirement for any boat that we inspect.
Right.
We could give citations for it. If we encounter you for the first time, you may get a verbal warning or you may get a citation, just like you would not wearing your seatbelt, right? So it's the same thing. It's a carriage requirement. We require you. It's in the statute to have it on board.
I know that my child, who was much younger, had asked, "Oh, well, you know, Mom." At the time, it was called Marine Patrol.
Yes.
And several years ago, we were given the opportunity to be a part of the parade, and Special Operations Division would not necessarily, it's not normal, but during that time frame of the Liberation Parade, we had put our boats out into the, included into the parade, and my kid had asked, well, why do we need police officers out in the water, right? What do they do? And, you know, again, you reiterated that just like how we would be out on the road, issuing citations for violations, that your job is to ensure that the people who are out also in the sea are following the rules of the water and are in compliance of what it is they need to be able to operate that boat and have, are we called guests? Riders? Boat riders?
Passengers?
Passengers be in compliance of what it is for their safety. It's not that it's just a compliance and it's by the law. It's really truly about the safety of the passengers and those all on board.
Yes.
So again, good morning to those who are tuned into Wave 105. My name is Berlin Savella with the Guam Police Department, and sitting directly across from me, sharing the mic, is Sergeant John Bobbin with the Special Operations Division, and we are going into speaking into the community engagement detail, which it is called Operation Seaweed. And if you're interested in being a part of this outreach, it's an experience, I will say, that will take place. This is going to be the second community outreach for this year. Hoping to do it once a month. Saturday, January 25th, 2025. Mark your calendars. And I could run through the details as far as how to register, when to register, and contact numbers. There will be 2 trips on Saturday.
Yes.
This coming Saturday. And Reese, if you're free and you would be interested to see what is out there and go through this outreach, can you tell us what will we be doing? If you choose, maybe you don't have anything to do this Saturday, January 25th, 2 different hours, 8 a.m. and a 10:30 trip.
Yes.
What are we to expect?
So if you have a child that's under the age of 12,
okay,
if you can, bring your own life jacket.
If you can.
If you can. We do have some available, but if we have a certain number, we don't have for everybody. We will work on that. We are working on it. We're trying to get more life jackets so we can have enough for children. But under the age of 12, if you have your life jacket, please bring it with you. Now, the space is limited. I want to point out, the space is limited, so please, if you can, call the number, see if you can get registered. If not, we have it. We're going to be having it every month.
Every month, okay.
Yeah, so that's one to expect. Bring sunblock. You're going to be out in the water. You might get splashed. I think the last crew that went last weekend, the first early morning crew, they were able to see some dolphins.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, live dolphins. They had a blast, and our crew had a great time with the kids. That's really what it's all about, right? Trying to get these kids' mindset engaged with us, so they understand what we want, and they understand what helps them. And at the end of the day, we ultimately care about your safety, and that's really what it's all about. So we can instill the minds of the younger ones, get the kids out there to really enjoy a good day with us. And the important part of a good day on the water just getting home safe.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. So we come in, get your registration, come in the morning. We'll do a liability waiver. You'll get briefed by me.
Okay.
I'll talk about our requirements.
Yes.
Right. How to wear. I'll give a demonstration on how to wear the life jacket, how to properly put it on, how to look for certain sizes, and talk about all the enforcement that we do, and then you get escorted out to the boat, and you talk to our crew. You engage with the crew. I encourage the kids that come out. And parents, if they want to accompany their kids, well, they have to accompany.
Yes,
that's on the thing,
they
right?
do.
So parents too, to engage with our officers, speak with them, ask questions. I'm sure that there's things that we can learn from the community as well, right? So engage with our people, engage with our officers, and we're there for the community.
Let's just say that this time around we have an influx of participants and interested individuals along with their children. Could you share, Sarge, the anticipated time that you will be out there in the water, just so they are able to plan around what their day would be like for Saturday if they choose to go to the first trip, which is at 8 a.m.? How long to and from or to and back would they be out?
Yeah, so the total time from briefing to being underway and then making it back to port would probably be an hour.
About an hour.
We were looking for about an hour. Yeah, so plan for about an hour. I think I want to bring my son too.
And it's free.
He's really looking forward to do. Yeah, it's free.
I think we didn't emphasize it earlier. Community Water Education Engagement Detail, also known as Seaweed, from our boating safety education counterparts, our SEAS unit and personnel, is hosting this Saturday, January 25th, 2025, for 2 trips with your child and adults from 8 a.m. as coming back in about an hour. We have a second trip that's at around 10:30, and admission is free. Although it says 10:30, I do know that they give a waiting period should you be running late. And again, we also have advanced registration, and we also do the registration there at the port. I'm not certain. Please correct me on that. Are we going to allow that this time around?
Well, the important of advanced registration is to make sure that we have enough space on the boat for them on each trip. Right?
Oh,
We hate for people to show up
and not be able to accommodate.
Yes. So advanced registration is important. I encourage. I don't know how we could get this QR code.
Would you have magic?
You can actually just share that over with me if you want to
Okay.
WhatsApp it to our wave 922-1051, and that goes to all our listeners.
Yes.
But yeah, you can go ahead and WhatsApp to me, and I'll share that on our stories now.
Actually, yes. Maybe I could take care of that after this.
Sounds
during
good too.
this short break.
Sure, not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, it's 10:34 in the morning. Big shout outs, of course, going out to our friends over at Wendy's. You could check them out. They do have the mushroom bacon cheeseburger available for you to purchase. Go and get yours today at Wendy's. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Start your day right with Mornings with Patty Arroyo every weekday morning from 6 to 10 a.m. Then meet me, Paulie Suba, in your afternoon on the bright side. Ride the wave with us on your radio at 105.1 FM or stream us 24/7 at thewave105.com. The sound of Guam is Wave 105.1 FM.
Young surprise! I'm back on Wave 105. It's your girl Nene every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Catch your island music tidal wave with Nene. Brought to you by San Lorenzo Laundromat.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And
And to keep you cool, Pat's also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and base-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Commander Pat.
Hop a day, everybody. Reese the Beast here.
And we got a little show called The Morning Blender. We want you to tune in every weekday from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m.
That's right. Lots of chances to win. We got lots of things to talk about. And, of course, your favorite topics like what's your favorite tomorrow food?
Duh, everything.
So be sure you tune in Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. on the station powering your day.
Power 98. Thanks to our friends at GTA, Burger King, the Agenda Shopping Center, Pat's Tinting and Detailing, Lysol, what it takes to protect, Chili's, and Subway.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Pat's also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and base-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Commander Pat.
Hop a day, everybody. Reese the Beast here.
And we got a little show called The Morning Blender. We want you to tune in every weekday from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m.
That's right. Lots of chances to win. We got lots of things to talk about. And, of course, your favorite topics like what's your favorite tomorrow food?
Duh, everything.
So be sure you tune in Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. on the station powering your day.
Power 98. Thanks to our friends at GTA, Burger King, the Agenda Shopping Center, Pat's Tinting and Detailing, Lysol, what it takes to protect, Chili's, and Subway.
Half a day, it's Paulie Suba of Wave 105 and host of The Bright Side. Get ready, because The Bright Side just got brighter. We're hitting the radio waves from 2 to 6 p.m. every weekday, baby. We'll dive into local politics and highlight what's happening in your community. Call into the show or leave a comment and share what's on your mind as we figure out these world problems together. We'll talk to the people that are moving and shaking things up. The Bright Side is brought to you by Vitali's Italian Restaurant, GTA Teleguam, Chili's, Good to Go, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the bright side on Wave 105.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
Half a day and welcome back to Wave 105. My name is Berlin Savella with the Guam Police Department, along with Sergeant John Baldwin from the C's section, Special Operations Division, and he was sharing with us as we are trying to highlight, or are highlighting a community outreach that's upcoming on Saturday, January 25th. For those who are interested, please log on to guamboating@gmail.com, or Miss Reese, our producer, is going to kindly share the QR code for early and advance registration. That's free. Free.
Yes. Register your kid. Show up.
It'll be available on, sorry, I'll just throw it in there,
yes.
but on our Wave story, as well as for any followers from Power 98. It'll be both on Instagram and Facebook for you to see.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys.
so much. Sarge, you were talking about, during the break, you've mentioned about wanting to hone in on the life jacket.
Yes. So, again, this is our main goal. Is to make it cool, right? But I also want to point out to boaters, right? Not only do you have to have a life jacket on board, but we do have a statutory age where it's required at all times.
At all times, okay.
Yes. So that age is 12. If you have a child who's 12 years old and below, it is mandatory that whatever boat, whatever vessel they're on, they have to be wearing it. They can't take it off.
Sarge, give me
Yes.
Give me a second. Can't take it off.
No.
Totally got that. But like I mentioned, I was purviewed to be able to be a part of the team when we went on our first run, right? The starting point of it.
Yes.
Please remind me. This is a community outreach where I did see, I was purviewed to see the community come together that day. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There was a captain of a boat who had shared a life jacket for one of our younger ones. I forgot the name of the boat that I wanted to give thanks to.
Yes.
That,
so Mr. Frank Kanata.
Thank you.
From Island Girl Charters.
Mr.
Yes.
Frank Kanata from Island Girl Charters, thank you on behalf of the Guam Police Department for sharing and allowing us to use the life jacket for a younger age.
Yes.
And that was very, very courteous of him. It came from the heart. I guess in speaking with other of our officers, it was identified that there was an age jacket that we needed.
Yes.
To be able to allow a younger participant. And I know he runs a business.
Yes.
And it was free of charge. He actually insisted for us to use it during
Yes.
that time.
So, we're one thing about Guam, right? And just being a police officer on Guam in general. We have a great community, right? Yes, we run into some problems here and there, but we have a great community. More so with the boating community. Our boating community is great. They're always willing to help. And that's the difference between, we don't have a very big recreational boating community.
Okay.
We have a big fishing, right? So these guys are all big on safety. They have what it takes, and Mr. Frank Kanata challenges us all the time. Hey, come inspect my boat. I guarantee you I have everything you need, right? So we challenge him on it. Yeah, let's go. Randomly. Let's board your boat. Let's see what you have. And, that's just this community. Yesterday we were doing some boating enforcement.
Yes.
And we were on a 48, right? We stopped the boat out in the water for the purpose of inspecting his boat for the carriage requirements that we talked about earlier. And another boat pulls up and says, I figured since you guys were here, you can just inspect my boat. Make sure that I have everything that I have or that I need, right? So that's what's great about this community. They're always willing to help. And in times when we're called out on a search and rescue mission with the Guam Fire, with the United States Coast Guard, these guys are on the radio. They're trying to help out because they're there out. They're also our eyes and ears. So again, we can't do this without the community's help, right? We are a few officers strong, right? A few hundred officers strong, but we are stronger when the community comes together to make it work for us. And that's what happened, right? That's what happened for us. And we're fortunate. We're great. It's a great place to be a police officer.
Thank you
Guam.
for sharing that,
Yes.
Sarge, on the community coming together and not having to be one up over the other. I did see that. I will attest that I did see that while walking in the dock as the first trip pulled in. I did see how it just seemed like one tight niche circle.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes they, when they get fresh catch, they'll let us try their sashimi, cut it up. They're cutting it from, hey, try this out. Tastes good. But, we're just fortunate. We're very fortunate to work with a great boating community.
There was something else during the break that you mentioned you wanted to go ahead
Yes.
and speak about. Could you share that?
Yeah, so
with me?
there are several things being part of this boating community and recreational boating safety, and the fact that we get grant. We've been to several conferences, and one thing that we're having, and this will be in May, we're having the 63rd annual WESBA conference, right? The Western States Boating Administrators Association. That's going to be held right here on Guam from May 19th to the 20th. I'd like to highlight that this is the first time that this conference has gone outside of the United States. It's been as far as Hawaii, but this is the first time it's really gone outside the United States. So Guam is hosting it. This is a great opportunity, right, for us to engage with industry professionals.
Yes.
Who make a difference in boating safety and education, right? So I'm not sure if you're familiar. I've been to the first WESBA conference out in Astoria, Oregon. My first one, but it's been in existence for over 63 years. And they talk about innovation. They talk about challenges. And we come together, right, and we try to address it from a national standpoint. Believe it or not, it trickles down and it comes down to the end user, right? For example, they get new ways to have engine cutoff switches, right? What is an engine cutoff switch? So on a jet ski, everybody's familiar with wearing this wrist thing, and it attaches to your jet ski, right?
So you don't go away or far away from.
Yeah. So if you fall overboard, and you're likely to fall overboard, right, on a jet ski, it's the engine cutoff will turn the engine off. You'll be able to swim back to your jet ski, and you'll be able to get back on and go, right? So we have engine cutoff switches on boats, right? But right now it's not mandatory to wear it, right? It's not mandatory. We do as a practice at seas with our boat captains. We practice it. I've had an incident some years ago. It was a missing person.
Okay.
And this person is known by the community, the fishing community. Didn't come in when they were supposed to. It went on to that night, first daylight. We launched the whole search and rescue mission, and we found the boat. But we didn't find the person on the boat. However, he was attached to his boat by way of a fishing line. So I believe that if this fisherman had wore his cutoff switch when he was operating, with his fishing gear, I believe that he would have been alive today if he wore his cutoff switch, right? So those are some of the things that this conference, the boating professionals, they bring. These are some of the ideas that they bring up. And there's a plethora of different ones. There's electronic ones where you attach it to your body and it's not connected to any cable.
Okay.
Right? And if you fall overboard and it detects that you fall overboard, it'll shut your boat off. Right? It happens. We have a lot of fishermen who love to fish by themselves. Right? And when they're out there, the boat's still moving, they're out there working their reels, they could hit a big wave unexpectedly, they could fall out overboard, and there goes your boat. There's no way you can catch up to it. So these are some of the things that the industry professionals bring up. And so we are hosting this conference. If you want any more details in regards to it, you can call our boating registration, our recreational boating safety office.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
Because I don't recall them ever hosting the conference.
No.
Here on island, and it would be where we would send a representative from the Guam Police Department.
Yes.
To this conference, these types of conferences, to be able to bring back to our island to share with our chief the new innovations that they've come up with, new gear, and all that great stuff. So hoping to look forward to that. And I'm sorry, when did you say that was anticipated to partake?
This will be May 19th to the 22nd.
May's just around the corner.
Yeah.
Albeit it seems like it's just January, but before you know it, that it just comes creeping on you, and it's all of a sudden, are we there yet? Wow. Okay. And is anyone able to just be a part of this conference?
You can call. I know that if you have something to contribute right to the success of this community, it's a nonprofit organization, right? You can call the number, our recreational boating safety office, 475-8448.
Okay.
And then you can inquire how you could help in regards to this. There is currently 20, I believe, host states. So there's 20 members. We are anticipating 20 state members from all the western part of the United States: Washington State, Oregon, Guam, Hawaii, Idaho, Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, to include Northern Marianas Islands,
Okay.
Guam, Texas, Utah, Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, American Samoa. So these are part of this, right? So these boating community industry partners come together, and we share how they've done certain things, and we try to improve education, boating education, safety for everybody, right? Not just Guam, right? All across the nation. We try to make it a standard way of approaching recreational boating safety.
Nice.
Yep. So, I've gotten the privilege to attend the WESBA conference. It's a great group of people, and they're coming. They're coming here. I believe we're looking at 60 members, 20 states, 60 members, to include some people from the Coast Guard, right, who we get our grant funding from. So
who would have the helm on this? Would this be the Guam Police Department or the Coast Guard?
it would be Lieutenant Torrey. He's heading up the he's heading up the WESBA conference here.
Okay.
And we're going to be involved, right, with the conference and make sure that it runs smooth, and try to spread the Hafidi spirit to a lot of our outside boating
Counterparts.
industry
Yes.
professionals.
And if you don't mind asking in advance,
Yes.
As we near the date, that's something that would maybe Lieutenant Torrey and the team would take into consideration to have WESBA,
Yes.
Speak to our community members and share maybe or highlights here at Wave 105 on a Tuesday. Are they going to be here for just about a day, or is
Yeah,
this like
so
a week?
we do have a really, like, the agenda is actually very, it's time constraint, but I'm sure we could probably work something in regards to getting them out, talking to the community. But yeah, that's what we have coming up in May. So we'll be hosting that. We're looking forward to it. Guam's looking forward to it. Some of these people have never been here on this island, so we get to showcase what we're doing out here. And I think our community engagement detail, our Operation Seaweed, it's leading up to this, right? So part of our responsibility with the RBS program and our boating is education and outreach, right? So that's big part of our. No, we're not just police officers. We're not just gonna go out and be, lay the hammer, lay the law on you. We're also gonna try to help
Educate.
mentor and guide you, and just educate you. And I think at the end of the day, if we do proper mentorship, we do proper guidance, proper education, and constantly, I think we can achieve so much.
Yes, be a part of the solution, not
Yes.
a part of the problem. Again, Officer Savella here with the Guam Police Department and Sergeant John Bobbin with the Special Enforcement Amphibious Section with the Special Operations Division. We were speaking about a community engagement that we will be having this January 25th on a Saturday. It's called Operation Seaweed. It is an educational program tailored for our youths that will include a boat ride and focus on water safety, proper use of a life jacket, vessel carriage requirements, and proper use and care of all the requirements. The Guam Police Department is committed to reducing emergency water responses through hands-on community engagement, and this is something that Chief Ignacio had the foresight on and we're actually seeing it fruition as we did our first launch 2 weeks ago at the Paseo de Susana Marina. It is one of many educational engagements for water activities that we are pushing forward, and we are hoping to see this successfully continue at least once a month throughout the year of 2025. This event is a first come, first served, and we are asking that you take advantage of the advance registration that is online, and our producer, Miss Reese, had identified that can be shared on their social media platform. However, if you have any questions, maybe you just have a little bit more concerns before you make that decision, you're more than welcome to contact via email. That's guamboating@gmail.com. They also have a contact number that you can reach a person to answer any questions that you may have at 671-475-8448. And because we are one large team here at the Guam Police Department, if maybe guamboating@gmail.com is a little bit too hard to remember, gbdpio@guam.gov.guam. And I would be able to share whatever information that is shared with me. Admission is free. I will say again, if I didn't say it enough, admission is free for this weekend's seaweed operation, community water education engagement detail. Sergeant John, if there's anything that I may have missed throughout this discussion, please do so. If there's something that you wanted to capitalize on or give a shout outs to, or highlight something that we weren't able to highlight, we have 2 minutes before we say half a day to our islanders and our listeners at Wave 105.
Yes, okay, just please, if you have the opportunity, please register. We're looking forward to meeting more members of our community, especially our youth.
Yes.
Some tips, right? Dress appropriately for a boat ride, stay hydrated, wear a long sleeve. If you have a hat, wear a hat. You're going to get a little bit of sun. You're going to get a little bit of salt water in your face, but man, I think there's a little bit of sea therapy with the salt water, right? And then I want to go back to WESBA, right? Yes. If people want to know more about it, they can go to www.wesbaguam.com. That's WSBAA Guam.com. So if they want to know more about the conference that's coming, meeting more members of the, learning more about WESBA and what they bring to the table, they can go on that website and get more information. It's a really nice site. You should go check it out if you haven't already.
If I haven't already, definitely. Thank you again for the invite as usual. Miss Reese Espinosa, who is behind the scenes allowing for all of this to happen. Thank you so much, Glimpses Media, for allowing the Guam Police Department to come into your airwaves to share everything law enforcement every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This will conclude our show for today, and till then, have a half a day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Start your day right with Mornings with Patty Arroyo every weekday morning from 6 to 10 a.m.